Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have 8 hearings with a high conflict couple where Dad was the one with primary custody and Mom had visitation until Mom kidnapped the child with a fake pizza delivery scam, claiming the child was being abused in Dad's care. But Dad's custody was restored, and up until recently the child was primarily with him again. But Mom has now taken the child and is yet again claiming abuse while withholding the child from Dad. Despite the judge ordering Mum to send the child for visitation with Dad and to contact the gal immediately, Mum defies all of these court orders, claiming the child was so scared she had to take her to the ER to calm her down. But she couldn't possibly have taken her for visits. This just scratches the surface of the crazy accusations and wild claims made by a mother whose criminal record and addiction issues seem to be the real problem here. But let's see what the judge thinks.
All right, so I'm not hearing from Summer Brody. Summer Brody, if you're on the line, please unmute and state your name, please. And then Ivan Molina, are you on the line? Ivan Molina? I'm not hearing a response from Mr. Molina. I do see that Ms. Height is present. I see that Ms. Ms. Looney, are you assigned to this case, or is it Ms. Powers?
I am, Your Honor, and I'm here.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So I noted that it was noted on today for a review related to the guardian ad litem report, and I didn't see that a hearing or the report had been filed at this point. So just want to maybe get an update from Ms. Height, and you can kind of give us a status update, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. There isn't a report. What has occurred in this case up to this point is that as I started my investigation, the parties decided they were going to put together their own parenting plan. They were not going to need anything other than that. And so I've been waiting to see if that's going to occur. And over the last, I believe this is the third or possibly the fourth time we've had a delay. And there were all these issues about not being able to get some paper signed. And it was very unfocused. And I haven't seen any kind of parenting plan. And therefore, I've just been kind of circling in the whirlpool, hoping to get some direction. So, and with neither of them here today, my memory is the last time we were in court, they were definitely going to get the paperwork signed. There was just one more signature that needed to be done, and that Mr. Molina was going to take care of that with Miss Brody. I have heard nothing from either one of them, and that's the sum total of what I have for you this morning, Your Honor.
Appreciate the update, Ms. Height. Thank you. Ms. Powers, any update on your end?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, I think without Ms. Height, and I'll get your feedback on this. My sense is we should probably just simply strike the matter for today and allow the parties to take action. Or take in action. So to the individual who joined on the iPhone, you'll need to mute yourself, please. Great, thank you. Ms. Height?
My only question would be, should I remain on the case? It seems like maybe I should, just so that if something does come up, I don't have to be reappointed, but I don't see any way for me to move forward with any kind of a report for the court when neither of them seems to want to have a parenting plan that's outside of their own decisions. So,
right. You know, maybe one approach we could take is that we could potentially set it over 6-8 weeks and just set it for a review. And if something happens between then and now, great, we review it on that date. If nothing's happened, then on 6-8 weeks, you could be relieved of your duties as a guardian ad litem.
okay. And I will make an effort to contact them and see if they have any plans to move forward.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate the update. Thank you. So let's take a look here. Let's set it to the 8th of June at 9 o'clock in the morning for a review with potential discharge of the guardian ad litem if there's been inaction on the party's part.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
June 8th, I'm Commissioner Dave Nelson. We're going to start with Summer Brody and Ivan Molina. Ms. Powers is here, Ms. Hyde is here. Is Summer Brody here or Ivan Molina? This was put over to today by Judge Evans a couple months ago the parties indicated they were potentially reaching a agreed parenting plan. Ms. Height, do you have any updated information?
I have had no contact whatsoever from either party, Your Honor.
Okay, okay. Ms. Powers, you're here for the state, but you need to know what the parenting plan is before you can really go forward, I take it.
Well, I do. I proposed final child support orders with the hope that maybe the parties would be here ready to finalize. But my recollection of the case is that the parties, when they've been here, have indicated that they're close to an agreement, but then they're not showing up regularly for hearings and have really not made any progress towards an actual agreement. So I'm wondering if this should proceed in more of a normal manner instead of anticipating that the parties will settle.
Mr. Molina was just in the waiting room. Mr. Molina, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hi, how you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We called your case first. This has been put over several times because the parties indicated they were working on a parenting agreement. Can you tell me where you're at in that process?
Yeah, so basically what's going on is I've been trying to reach out to Miss Brody, but she's not in Longview anymore. She's been jumping all around places, and it's kind of hard to make up a point and a plan to be able to meet up with her or have her do anything with me, because for one, it's kind of hard to get a hold of her, and for two, like I said, I don't even know where she's at currently. So I was wondering if there was any way that we could just go ahead and move on to the next process, because this is, I don't want to waste any of your guys' time, and I'm tired of just sitting here running around in circles.
So the next process, if I'm looking at the file now, and it's got quite a few entries. Have you submitted a proposed parenting plan?
No, because I thought that I was going to be able to get Summer to be able to again meet up with me and sign the one that I have already drawn up. But like I said, that's just obviously gotten me nowhere this far. So I do have one that I can submit if that's what you're asking, though. Like, it's just the parenting plan that I have drawn up currently.
I think what you want to do is submit a proposed parenting plan with a note for a motion to enter the parenting plan. It would be entered on this docket as a temporary parenting plan. And then eventually you may have to bring a hearing in front of one of the judges to get a permanent parenting plan. But I think the next step would be to get a temporary parenting plan in place. Why don't I give you a date to come back, and then you can put on your note for your motion the date that I give you.
Okay.
So today's the 8th. Why don't we go out to July 6th?
July 6th.
Right. And so note a motion to enter a temporary parenting plan on July 6th and submit your proposal with it. Send that to Ms. Brody. If she doesn't respond, then I'll probably enter it. If she does respond, then we'll see if we need to make some changes to it.
Okay, that sounds good. I basically, and that's what I was just saying. Like, I've been trying to get in contact with her recently, and it's really hit or miss. Last time we got in contact, I was informed that she wasn't out there in Longview. So like I said, I don't know where she's at. I honestly don't even know how I would get that to her via, if I could get her to give me an address, but like I said, contact with her is patchy.
Okay. Before you leave here, Ms. Height, anything you'd want to say before we leave this case?
I wonder if Father could let me know where this child is and how this child is doing. I've had no contact.
Yeah, no, I'd be very well to tell you. She's doing good. She's currently in school right now. He starts summer next Friday, so that's exciting. But yeah, she's been very good. We currently, so now me and her, we have our own place, no more roommate situation. It's just her and I. And yeah, things have been going pretty well. She's doing good in school. She hasn't had any major issues, and she's happy. We go out and play on the weekends. I got her a little dirt bike, so I'm trying to teach her how to ride a dirt bike currently. But other than that, it's just another day in paradise over here.
Thank
So,
you. I appreciate that information, Mr. Molina.
and Mr. Molina, between now and July 6th, Ms. Height may reach out to you and ask you some additional questions.
That's perfectly fine with me.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Powers, then we'll see you back here on July 6th, and we'll see what we do with the parenting plan.
All righty, awesome. See you guys then.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good evening, Your Honor. I'm here on Brody and Molina.
Right, we have, and I have just as a side note, a Leanne Halpin in the waiting room. I don't know who that is.
They don't either.
And I didn't see it associated with any cases, but I'm just throwing that out there in case someone does recognize that name. So this is Brody and Molina 223-0041508.
Yeah, I see that it's on the docket for child support. It's kind of a funky one because the parties had appeared at certain points and suggested that they could reach an agreement. So the court kept setting it out, hoping that the parties would reach an agreement. At our last hearing on June 8th, Mr. Molina was present. He confirmed the parties could not reach a final agreement. The court set it over today to enter a temporary parenting plan. Mr. Molina was supposed to file his parenting plan. The docket shows that it's on for child support. I think child support should be stricken. We have a temporary order of child support that was entered in January. At the court's request, I had drafted a final child support for our last hearing on June 8th, but since the parties had not reached an agreement, it's not appropriate to enter it. And I don't know whether Mr. Molina followed through and filed a temporary parenting plan.
As far as Odyssey shows, there is no, I'm going to let this Leanne Halpin in just to make sure that they're not somebody else.
It looks like from the chat, maybe they're an LLT.
Oh, is my LLT. All right. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. I appreciate that. Okay. So I've admitted her. So I do not see, and it looks in the register of actions. Sometimes we can see that something was filed, just hasn't been scanned in yet. And it doesn't look like anything other than your most recent proposed child support worksheets have been entered since the 8th. So I'm just going to strike today's hearing.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Powers. All right. And then we'll go to Bowers and Rodriguez, 16-300-667.
Again for me, please.
Ivan Molina.
Okay, one moment. All right, so this is Ivan Molina, and the cause is 223-415-08. And then Summer Brody, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Ms. Brody's here.
I also would like a continuance to be able to properly serve the other party.
So, okay, so Mr. Molina is requesting a continuance. Ms. Brody has indicated that she needs additional time to serve Mr. Molina properly. And Ms. Height is here also. Okay. Mr. Molina and also Ms. Brody, can you tell me respectively what timeframes you're looking at as far as this set over? We'll start with you, Mr. Molina.
The next is fine. I was unaware of court today, and I had just started a new job, so I'm currently on the job site right now. But I was informed by a police officer last week that I guess I had court today, and so that's why I just wanted to show up to make sure I didn't miss out or not show up and be proper about it. But I would like a continuance, as I will be getting an attorney to represent and help with the case.
So what amount of
Give him
What amount of time are you proposing?
If 2 weeks from now is okay.
And have you contacted any attorneys? Because I know attorneys usually have their initial intake appointments, and it's taking weeks to get those.
Yes, so that's why I was concerned, because I actually have to meet with him at 1 o'clock today.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Brody, what time frame, sorry, are you suggesting?
I'm okay with that. Like 2 or 3 weeks, I was thinking. So
Is that any input from you?
No, Your Honor.
I would like to add something. I have a couple character witnesses that are willing to come forth on my behalf as well, to testify that the stuff in my declarations are valid, and they have their own evidence to submit as well in my case. So I would like to be able to have time to get that together too.
I'll just encourage both parties to go to the Cowlitz County Superior Court website and look for local rules, and then look for local rule 88, and also get some guidance for that as far as timing of documents. So the parties are available. We'll set this March 13 at 9 a.m. How does that look for you, Ms. Burke?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the date?
Sure. Wednesday, March 13 at 9 a.m.
That's fine.
Okay. And Mr. Molina, March 13th at 9.
That'll be perfect.
March 19th.
Height, any concerns with that date? Ms. Height, any concerns with that date?
No concerns, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, great. We'll set it over to that date. Thank you. All right. There was one request, I think it was from Ms. Brody. You were making a request related to a request for continuance or striking.
That's correct. My person that is supposed to be serving him properly or whatever is having trouble locating him. I guess maybe he'd be at work or something when they're trying to see him or something. I'm not sure, but is that still required if he has everything he needs for the case? Or
Ms. Brody, I'm going to ask you to repeat that and speak a little more slowly and enunciate a little more clearly. I had a tough time understanding what you're saying.
my speaker's broke. I said he hasn't properly been served by my side yet. The person that I have over there trying to serve him is they're having difficulty being able to meet up with him at the same time or whatever, if they're working or he's working. So does he still need to be served? Or
Okay. So just let me touch base with y'all. Let me ask if Ivan Molina's on the line. Ivan Molina, are you on the line or in the courtroom? Ivan Molina. Mr. Molina, if you are here, make sure you're unmuted and please state your name. All right. Looks like he's not in the Zoom call, nor is he in the courtroom. So, Ms. Brody, this is your motion, correct, for restraining order and temporary orders related to parenting plan and child support, correct?
yes,
And I show that there's personal service by the Island County Sheriff back on February 2nd. Do you see that, or you're saying that there was other items that still need to be served upon him?
these the one we're doing court right now for the new things that I filed, restraining order and temporary placement, or what one was it? Yeah, those ones I thought that I was supposed to have them served.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm looking at. So on February 1st, there was a motion for immediate restraining order and a declaration of Summer Brody and immediate restraining order. All those documents are sent from our county up to Island County's sheriff's office for them to serve. And then on February 28th, this Island County Sheriff's Office filed a declaration indicating that they served those documents on Mr. Molina.
Okay.
On that date, or on February 2nd, it looks like. So are there's so the pardon me, so I'm sure we're here for the restraining order. It looks like you was served a copy of that along with your declaration accompanying that. And then it looks like as far as then the parenting plan and child support issues, not seeing maybe that's what you're talking about there, that he hasn't been served on that.
The most
Is that
recent stuff
correct?
is pretty much what I'm talking about.
Okay. So as far as getting him served those documents, how confident are you that you can get him served, or is that pose an issue?
It's an issue because it's like 4 hours away.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I don't know his work schedule. I don't talk to him actually currently at all.
Okay. There's a couple of ways to approach that. One, we could set it to a future date in hopes that the service is effectuated, or the service can be effectuated, and then you could give him notice as to a date, and then you could note it back up for a particular date. Do you have a preference?
I don't have a preference. I mean, I would like to push it out, or I mean, attorney. If that's the case, I'm probably gonna try to have to get one too. But my daughter doesn't want to be anywhere near. So.
Okay. Okay, hold on a second. So the temporary restraining order is in place, and it was set for the 21st for a hearing. And Mr. Molina was present at that time, so we continued it to today's date. And again, is Ivan Molina here? Ivan Molina? So I think, so I'm not hearing a response from him. So I think what needs to happen is that if you're making a request to continue, then that restraining order that was temporarily put in place would expire today if it were not if it were not extended. So if we continue the matter, I think we need to set it to a date certain and extend that temporary restraining order until that date. So,
Okay, can you clarify for me? Because the clerks keep telling me, make sure I'm aware it's not a protection order, it's a restraining order. What is the difference? How am I protected with my child? Or not protected? No.
okay, bear with me one moment.
No worries.
So on February 1st, there was an immediate restraining order that was imposed, and it protects Summer Brody and Aaliyah, and it restrains Mr. Molina from taking the child out of the state of Washington until the hearing. The children are to live with Summer Brody. There's a little bit of ambiguity on the stay away order in that it says, the stay away order says do not go within 2,000 feet of the protected person's home, workplace, vehicle, school, or daycare of the child. And there's, and then there's also a restraint of not threatening or hurting or harassing or stalking you or the child. So
Yeah, which another thing, they have this social media thing going on telling people that I'm kidnapping my child. And people are actively like making crazy statements about me with my pictures and everything online and my child's pictures.
So in the restraining order, there's no restraint regarding social media. Okay, so that order's in place, and it was set over to the 21st. We were here. I don't see that it was renewed at that time, so I think we need to make a renewal of that order, and then we'll set it over. What period of time are you asking for, Ms. Brody?
So he still needs to be served. And can I serve him by public, like by mail, or no? Is that not allowed?
There needs to be personal service unless there's an indication that that's not possible, then an alternative means could be provided.
Yeah, I can't go up there at all, and I uh, I don't know how else to do it. I can keep trying my contact up there. She can keep trying when she's not at work. So 3 weeks maybe.
Okay, all right, give me just one moment, please.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I believe that we're also ready for,
I'm not finished with the first case. Hold on. Brody, I'm reissuing the temporary order that was initially issued back on February 1st. We'll schedule this matter for in this restraining order. It'll need to be served on Mr. Molina again, and so I've asked that the Island County Sheriff, our clerk's office, will send this up to the Island County Sheriff's office, and they'll make attempts to serve him.
Does it show if there's an attorney in in his case, or is that? Or are we
Could you
still?
repeat that, please?
Does it show if he has an attorney already, or do I?
No attorney has filed a notice of appearance, so he's representing himself pro se.
Okay, because I was told that I can't serve him at the service attorney if he has one or something. Okay.
So we'll come back on April 3rd at 9 o'clock in the morning to hear that restraint order, and also you'll need to make sure that there's service on him of your motions. I'm making an indication here that yes, you can serve him your motion related to the temporary orders. You can serve him by US mail.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Can I request that we call 9 and 10 next, Brody and Molina?
We can do that.
Thank you.
I'm giving the clerk back the proposed orders on the last matter. Okay. So Summer Brody and Ivan Molina, 22-3-415-8. I'll need both of you to unmute at this point.
Hello, Your Honor, I'm here.
All right, that's Mr. Molina.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Ms. Brody, if you could unmute.
okay, I'm here, Your Honor.
All right, we're here today in 22-3-415-8. And I'm just checking the file. I know there were service issues last time. Oh, it looks like the prosecutors entered a notice of appearance. Mr. Molina,
What?
Mr. Molina, it looked like you had indicated you might be hiring counsel. Where is that?
Yes, Your Honor. So I did go through, I ended up having a lawyer, but I just couldn't afford the fees per hour. I went a couple times for advice, but other than that, it just started getting too expensive as the fees were $4.50 an hour.
Okay. All right, it looks like there was service on the 2nd of February of the immediate restraining order and notice, as well as Ms. Brody's declarations and exhibits. And then there was a state entered a notice of appearance, and it looked like that was served by mail. So it looks like we're here today to address Ms. Brody's motion for a temporary family law order, as well as a restraining order. So, Mr. Molina, I don't see any responses from you in the file.
So I I'm kind of as to where I'm at is we've already gone through this the year of 2022 when she had tried to take Aaliyah the first time, and then she got placed in my custody. And as far as to my notice or to my knowledge, until a parenting plan was set in place, Aaliyah was supposed to remain in my custody. And she was allowed to be, her mother was allowed to come see her once a month for 4 hours. Transportation was up to her. And as far as I know, because there was never any parenting plan set in place, that my daughter should still be in my care.
Okay, well, that doesn't relieve you from needing to respond to her motions.
Okay. The only thing that I've gotten from her besides, the notice of appearance was just the allegations basically stating that she had put against me and her file claim that she's filing now.
Well, and those are the allegations the court's dealing with here.
Okay, so how would I go about responding to those then? I have no problem responding.
Pardon me?
How would I go about responding to that then? What would I need to do?
Well, I can't give you legal advice, but you need to file pleadings in response to what she's asking for. And you need to present those to both the court and Miss Brody.
Okay.
Ms. Hyde, are you involved in the case?
Your Honor, I was appointed guardian ad litem November of 2022. And it was a very sketchy case to get any information from because of the housing situation and contact situation with Miss Brody. During the time of my investigation, she was very difficult to reach, and eventually some decisions were made, and I was then discharged in June of 2023. So I think need to be reappointed probably, if that's your Honor's thinking at this time.
All right, I think we're in the case in a similar situation to the last case. The court, I think, needs a response. We need a response from Mr. Molina. And I think it's appropriate that we reappoint Ms. Height, given the allegations Ms. Brody's making and the history of the case.
When I was appointed previously, Your Honor, it was appointed as a county pay case, if that's helpful
And I think
information to you today.
looks to me like that's probably still appropriate. So this would be a county pay case as well.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may, I haven't seen or heard from my daughter since December 13th. Miss Brody has blocked all communication or
Well, at this
anything.
point,
I
okay.
was just wondering.
Give me just a second, Mr. Molina.
Okay.
All right, the order that was signed on February 1st does have the child with Miss Brody until the matter is resolved. Prohibits Mr. Molina from removing the child from the state of Washington. But beyond that, does not prohibit contact with, is it Aaliyah? Aaliyah? Okay.
Yes.
It's a. If I could chime in though, the stuff that is needing to be investigated here or whatever is, and I've even submitted documents like showing my daughter's condition that she was in. It should give us the right to space from him while this is being handled, because she was not in a good state when I picked her up. She
Okay.
was,
and I understand that. I understand that,
and fragile.
Brody. I understand that's your position, but the court
Okay.
did not issue a restraining order. What they did was they placed the child with you. They did not restrain Mr. Molina from having contact. Between now and the 17th, our next, well, I'm going to set this out 3 weeks. Mr. Molina, I need you to have a response to the court and to Ms. Brody by April 10th. That's 1 week from today.
Okay.
We're gonna address this again on the 24th.
Your Honor,
In terms of, wait a minute, in terms of, was that Ms. Hyde or Ms. Brody?
yes, I am not available on the 24th. My apologies, Your Honor.
Are you available on the 1st of May?
I am the 17th and the 1st, both.
I go to the 1st of May.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Between now and then, I'm going to allow visitation with Mr. Molina from Friday the 12th until Sunday the 14th, Friday at 5 until Sunday at 5, and Friday the 26th at 5 until Sunday the 28th at 5.
Okay, so does he come and visit where she's at, or do I have to let her go with him?
She goes with him. And
Oh my goodness.
Mr. Molina, is it?
Your Honor,
Wait a minute, Mr. Molina, I'm going to require you to do your transporting.
That's fine, Your Honor. Can I get the dates one more time though? I got Friday the 12th at 5 and Sunday.
To
What's
Sunday,
the next
to
one?
Sunday the 14th at 5, and the 26th of April at 5 to the 28th of April at 5.
I'm sorry, I'm writing these down right now. I'm sorry. Okay, one more time, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. April 12th at 5 p.m. to April 14th at 5 p.m. April 26th at 5 p.m. to April 28th at 5 p.m.
You're going too fast. You're going too fast.
Wait a minute, wait a
You're going
minute.
way too fast. April,
Mr. Molina,
my Wi-Fi is bad as well.
Ms. Brody, please stop. Mr. Molina, I
Yes,
need
Your
you
Honor.
to, the child is not to be removed from the state of Washington.
Correct.
All right, and then this will be a county pay. And the court will, I will prepare an order reappointing Ms. Height.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Will Miss Height need to be there or for drop off and pickup, or just Miss Brody and I agree on a location for drop off and pickup?
Is there any issue with it, with drop off and pickup? Ms. Brody, can you agree to a location with Mr. Molina?
Yeah, I can agree on the location.
Why don't we
with you.
just say you both know where the Hall of Justice is in Cowlitz County?
Yes.
Let's have the exchange at the Hall of Justice in Cowlitz County.
Okay, Holy Justice.
You know where that is, Mr. Molina?
Okay, my Wi-Fi is very slow.
No, Your Honor, I
Need the
can GPS it.
The address is 312 Southwest First, Kelso, Washington.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else I need to address today?
Your Honor, if I might.
Your Honor, my Wi-Fi is. I need the dates. Is all. Sorry.
Ms. Brody, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Try again.
Yeah, my connection is bad. Dates you're saying too fast. The dates and time.
I'm having a hard time understanding you. I can hear you. I just can't understand what you're saying very well.
Yeah, it's my connection is bad. I was saying you were saying the dates and times for the visitation. I need to repeat it. It was hard to hear you.
April 12 at 5 p.m. Do you have that?
Yes.
To April 14th at 5 p.m. You have that?
I do.
And then again, April 26th at 5 p.m.
April 6th or 26th? Yes.
26th
I have that.
to April
I have
20th
it.
at 5 p.m.
28th at 5 p.m.
with transfers to occur at the Hall of Justice in Cowlitz County.
Okay.
And you know where the Hall of Justice is, Miss Brody?
And if he's, I do. If he's to leave, what happens with her? What if?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
If he takes her out of state, is it like what happened? What happens?
Well, he's not going to do that. He's been ordered not to do that. Ms. Height, did you have a question?
Yes, Your Honor, I have never had contact information that is reliable for Miss Brody. If I don't have a phone number currently or an address, if that could be included in my orders, I would appreciate that very much.
All right, let me.
The last address I have was from a community house.
Can the clerk check in Odyssey to see if we have a current address for Miss Brody?
And that was from the beginning of February. That's the address she put on her document,
48th Avenue.
42nd Avenue.
Okay. Ms. Brody, is the 42nd Avenue address still good for you?
Yes, it is. But it's supposed to be confidential. But I mean,
Okay.
Not.
She wrote on the corner of all of her documents for file.
Okay.
On the confidential. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, while you may have requested that, Ms. Brody, you also included that information on every document you filed with the court. So because of that, it's not confidential.
I understand.
So, okay. Ms. Height, we will include that information in the order.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
If I may ask, Your Honor, should I wait for Miss Brody to get in contact with me, or is it okay to ask for a phone number here while we're both present?
I'm sorry, say that again.
So I don't have any contact information for Miss Brody. I was wondering, should I wait for her to contact me, or would it be okay to ask for even a phone number while we're both present right now?
I see his phone number on the screen. I can get a hold of him.
Okay, Mr. Molina, is the number you have there on the screen the number she can reach you at?
Yes, Your Honor, the 352 number.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
I don't think, let me just look at the restraining order. The restraining order, let's see. Does not prohibit contact. It just prohibits assault, harass, stalk, or molest the protected person or child, or use force against the protected person or child. So the two of you can have contact, but and Miss Brody does have your number. So we'll see you back here again on May 1st at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, Your Honor.
08. I will ask if Summer Brody's on the line.
I'm here.
Okay, welcome to you, Miss Brody. Can you turn your camera on, please?
1 minute. Sorry.
Let's see. Did you say you're going to try to turn it on? Did you say?
Yes, I am trying to. Sorry, my phone was completely dead. I just got it on.
Okay, thanks. And is Ivan Molina on the line today?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Molina. And then Ms. Height is here, the guardian ad litem. She's present.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, just going to take a moment to pull up my notes. Okay, we're here on Ms. Brody's motion related to a restraining order and also a temporary order that's related to that. We were here not too long ago, and so there were some allegations related to the child's well-being, bruising, neglect related to food, and that there was a temporary restraining order that was imposed back in February that prohibited Mr. Molina from taking the child out of Washington and not assaulting mother or child, and that the child would remain with the mother until the hearing. There was additional information that on April 3rd that the court allowed additional visitation for the father over a couple of different weekends during April. And there was to be a response served by Mr. Molina by a certain date. He submitted that, and that was on April 11th, and I reviewed that. So we're here today, and I just was, maybe we could start off with just input from Ms. Height, if you've learned anything recently that you'd like to share with the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. I am disappointed to report to you that I have very little to report to you. I was reappointed. I sent packets out on April 7th. Have not received anything back. I have had several phone contacts with Mr. Molina. I contacted 9 different phone numbers trying to reach Miss Brody. I finally did get a call back from her when someone contacted her on my behalf. And she said that she was unable to meet with me presently because she is in the process of moving again. I was unable to meet with the daughter because she does not appear to be in school anywhere. She's 7 years old, not in school. So essentially, I have had no contact that is going to be helpful for the court as far as how this child is doing. I would also let Your Honor know that in my contacts with Mr. Molina, on April the 12th, he had come down for his court-ordered visit. He comes down from Island County, and he had driven down, I believe it's about 5.5 hours, and contacted me and said he didn't have any contact with the child. Mom wasn't returning calls. And so he waited a while and went back home without the child. She essentially withheld him. I don't know what the situation was, but she would not respond to any contact from him. So he has not, to my knowledge, had contact with this little gal either. So all that to say, I have very little specific information as far as the well-being of the child at this time.
Okay, all right, thank you, Ms. Height. Let me just double check with Ms. Brody. Ms. Brody, were you able to get your camera on? Okay, so Ms. Brody, a question for you. Last time we were here, you were in front of Judge Scudder, and Judge Scudder ordered that the father have visitation on 2 weekends, on the 12th through the 14th of April, and then the 26th through the 28th of April. Did those visits happen? You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had made contact with Ivan prior to said visit the day before, giving him well enough time to know that he shouldn't be coming down because my child was hospitalized. We had been to the hospital, and my daughter was referred from the hospital, which I submitted to the courts. She is referred to trauma and abuse counseling, so she's actually active with that.
So
And
is
she's
your
home.
representation, Ms. Brody, that the child was in the hospital on April 12th?
I have I don't remember the representation.
Is that what you're saying? Is it you're saying that on April 12th the child was in the hospital?
I'm saying before that, when she found out she had to go with her dad, it went backwards completely. She started, her nose, like I have pictures and everything I've submitted. We went to the court or went to the hospital. She's getting nosebleeds, like bad flooding. She's wet in bed. She gets in hysteria crying. She's saying that she doesn't want to go with her dad. She's night terrors. I can't get her to sleep through the night.
So
She's
on April 12th, when the court ordered the visitation with the child and the father to occur, why did that not occur?
because it was my daughter was physically and mentally unable to go. It was not in the best interest of my child to go. The hospital even
Did
said
a medical professional make that recommendation or
the
state that she should not go?
the medical profession said it's clear that she needs to go see a specialist. So they gave me they referred me to an office. They said that she needs to be with me.
So I'm concerned, Ms. Brody, when a court orders that a child have visitation with a parent and then another parent unilaterally decides that that child's not going to have a visitation with a parent, that's highly concerning to the court.
I'm sorry. I just I did not want my daughter to be worse off. She's mentally messed up over this man, and she can't sleep. And I was scared for her well being. And that judge that sat in should have been a conflict of interest because he's been my attorney for I don't know quite a few years. And
So some of the remedies I'm looking at, Ms. Brody, when somebody doesn't comply with a court order, there's a strong possibility that the custodial the custody of the child changes dramatically, because if you can't follow one order for a weekend visit and there's withholding of that, there's one clear way to remedy that. So you can tell me if you're gonna abide by the court's orders or not.
I can abide by them, but can we just revisit the visitation circumstances, because this is an abuse and neglect case, and she's supposed to be taken away all the way across, with her dad, and she is scared.
Where's the child enrolled in school? Where? One more time. I can't hear the first part of it.
It's online. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So preparatory something?
Mm-hmm.
And is that, do you have paperwork of enrollment related to that?
I do. It's online.
Right. But as far as enrollment paperwork shows that she's enrolled.
Yes.
Okay. When did that occur?
I don't know specific dates, but it was shortly. She's been going for a few months now. I know they had a hiccup with they were putting her in for kindergarten, and she's supposed to be in first grade or whatever, so they had her doing kindergarten work for a minute, but I don't know the dates. I can get them submitted to you. That's been a couple months now. I'm sorry.
Have you had any contact with Ms. Height? And there's information that she's acts as the kind of the eyes and ears of the court and serves the best interest of the child. And so there's information that she needs, which she needs to be able to speak with you. When is your first availability to meet with Ms. Height?
I can meet with her this week or next week. She's in the middle of moving right now.
Okay.
And my daughter's been in and out of the hospital.
Have you submitted any of those hospital records to Ms. Height?
I did when I submitted my restraining order. I did.
Any since the restraining order?
I haven't, but I can get them into the courts. I've been under the weather.
So Ms. Brody, just so you're, from my perspective, what I'm seeing and what the difficulty is that apparently you have information that you've shared with no one else related to this case. The information should have been shared either with the court directly or with Ms. Height, and that has not happened. The other concern is that the court ordered visitation to occur, and that did not happen. So those are from the court's perspective, those are two fairly serious issues. So I'm going to pause there and then just turn the time to Mr. Molina. Mr. Molina, on the 12th of April, did you have a visit with the child?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
What about on the 26th through the 28th?
No, I did not.
Okay. And what's as far as you meeting with Ms. Height and giving her information and allowing her to do her investigation, what's your availability to meet with her?
I was planning on, anytime I go down there to pick up my daughter, if she's available, I can be more than willing to meet up with her then. Just as she said earlier, it's a fairly long drive from where I'm at. Whether that or we could do phone meetings or Zoom hearings like we are now. I mean, I'm available. If you give me a date, I'll be there. And I just want to state from an earlier, so I had enrollment papers stating that my daughter was already in first grade. So it's going back to kindergarten is a little concerning to me as well. I don't know if you've seen that in the paperwork or not, but she was enrolled all the way from the time that I got her back in 2022 to where she was officially unenrolled because she had been out of school for a amount of days for Christmas break. And then after including in January, so they had no choice but to unenroll her because she had not been attending school. Also don't know where that stands at and what's going on because as I've said before, I haven't even got to talk to my daughter over the phone, FaceTime, nothing. When it comes to communication between me and Miss Brody, it's very subtle. The only 2 times that she's contacted me was to tell me that, you know, obviously to say that my daughter was too scared to come see me, which I don't, you know, honestly, I have a hard time believing that because when my daughter has been with me, it's been nothing but good times. And so it concerns me to wonder what's going on or what's being said or how things are being acted upon over there towards, you know, me. Is she being fed stuff about her father? Because there's no reason for her to be scared of me. There's no reason for her to be freaking out. There's no reason. I mean, I can submit, you know, if I have to, I can submit multiple pictures and videos and just to all the good times that we have had together. And I mean, just from those simple things being said, in my eyes, it's crazy to me to think that my daughter's that scared to me that she's got to be admitted to any type of hospital or she's waiting to because when she was with me.
So
she was
I
with me.
apologize, Mr. Molina, just let me interrupt. There's somebody else just is on the Zoom call and they need to mute. So anybody that's not directly on this call or on this case, I need you to make sure you're muted. That means you press the microphone icon to mute. And then if you're dialing in with a phone number, you'll need to press *6. Go ahead, Mr. Molina. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries. I just, you know, as a father, I'm concerned for the well-being of my child and the fact that, I mean, I'm abiding by all the court rules and it just seems to be like I'm getting nowhere, you know, not even a simple phone call.
Okay.
I haven't talked to my daughter since December 13th of last year.
So let me, thank you for your input. Let me just touch base with Ms. Height. I'm contemplating requiring the parties to speak with you and fully comply with all of your requests during this week and next, and having that completed by the 14th of May. And I don't want to impose that upon you if you don't have time, but I just wanted to check with your time. If in the coming week, would you have time to meet with both parties, whether it's in person or via remote means?
Yes, Your Honor, I would.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Brody and Mr. Molina, I'm ordering both of you to meet with and speak with and fully comply with all the requests of Ms. Height by no later than May 14th at 7 p.m. That'll be the cutoff. And so you both need to meet with them and meet with her and comply with everything that she asks you to supply or do. And then we'll come back here next week on the 15th of May at 9 o'clock in the morning to make sure that you've done that. In addition, there'll be a visit this weekend on the 17th of May until the 19th of May, as outlined previously as to what is to occur. So I want to just speak to Ms. Brody. Ms. Brody, May 17th, there's going to be a visitation. I want to ask you now if you're going to comply with the court's order.
Yeah, I'm gonna comply with the court's order. I'm just concerned about the unsupervised and you know, this is a abuse case and trauma. This little girl.
Okay.
You know,
Mr. Molina, are you available this weekend for a visit with the daughter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I might,
Go ahead, Ms. Height.
you mentioned this weekend.
I did.
Did you mean the 10th and 11th rather than the 17th and the 18th?
Yeah. Yeah, it's May 8th today, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, that was my intent. Thanks for catching that. Yeah, so not the 17th, pardon me. It would be the 10th, pardon me, the May 10th through the 12th. So let me just
So
clarify.
right-
Thank
so
you.
right now.
Ms. Brody, will that work out for you?
So she's going out of town with him to, on Friday, what you're saying?
So the visit, as it was contemplated previously in the court order, is that Mr. Molina would drive from Oak Harbor, Island County, down here for the visit, take the child for that period of time, and wherever he was going to be during that time, that's where he'd be.
Okay, do I get to be in contact with her during this weekend or no?
So
Is that the car one?
Ms. Krieger, you need to mute your phone, Ms. Krieger.
I don't know.
Ms. Krieger, you need to mute your phone. Sorry. So just with the correction of the date, Mr. Molina, this weekend, pardon me, is May 10th through the 12th. Are you available for visitation during that time?
Yes, Your Honor. And I'm just curious, will it still be the same set time as it was previous? Will it be at 5 o'clock?
Right. I'm just going back to that court order from April 4th. So the exchange location will be at the Hall of Justice, and Mr. Molina is restricted from removing the child from the state, has to stay within the state of Washington. So 5 p.m. May 10th will be the exchange. And then on the 12th at 5 p.m. will be the exchange.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
We'll be back
So
here,
do
both
I get
parties.
to be in contact with her?
So I think it's reasonable to have, if a child wants to call and contact the other parent while they're on a visit with the other parent, that's fine. I think 1 time per day would be reasonable.
Okay,
So
Thank
we'll
you.
be back here next week. Both of you will be meeting with and conversing and fully complying with Ms. Heights. Is there any question from either party about that requirement?
no, Your Honor.
Mr. Molina?
No, Your Honor.
We'll see everybody next week. Thank you.
Your Honor, might I ask one quick question?
Sure.
I typically don't, without the court's order, ask for any kind of drug or alcohol testing without the court's order, but I wonder if, given the short timeline, if I perceive that that might be helpful for the court, if I could go ahead and request that, and that would be all right with the court.
Yeah, definitely. The court orders that and grants that authority. So if Ms. Height requests either Mr. Molina or Ms. Brody to submit to a urinalysis or blood test or hair test, then you're both required to do so.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And in addition to submitting to the test, then you're also ordered to sign releases of information so Ms. Height can have that information. So that's really important. So if she requests that, then you need to submit to that and also sign releases of information. Sometimes they call them ROIs.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
Any question, Ms. Brody or Mr. Molina?
No, sir.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll see everybody next week. Thank you. Appreciate your compliance. Next, I have Summer Brody and Ivan Molina, cause 22-3-41508. I'll ask if Summer Brody's on the line.
Yes, I am.
Okay, welcome to Ms. Brody.
Morning. Yep, good morning.
Ivan Molina, are you on the line?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, welcome to both of you. All right, we were here a week ago, and I think, let's see, Ms. Height, are you on the line?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay, welcome to you, Ms. Height. All right, Ms. Brody, there's either some sliding noises or paper rustling that it comes across really loud here at the court. So if you could just help us with that, that'd be
I
appreciated.
apologize.
All right, so a couple of things. We were here last on the 8th of May, so last week, and parties had not yet met with the guardian ad litem, and there was concerns related to withholding of the child and concerns of alcohol abuse and bruises and other concerns. And the indication was that the parties need to speak with Ms. Height no later than yesterday at 7 p.m. and there was some visitation that was to occur in the interim. So I'll just double check with Ms. Hyde if the parties contacted you.
Your Honor, I did have contact with Mr. Molina after multiple attempts. I was unable to have any contact with Ms. Brody. I do have a brief report of my activities in the last week, when you're ready to hear something like that.
Okay. Yeah, let me, if I can hear from Ms. Brody, tell me what happened as far as the court's direction for you to be in contact and speak with Ms. Hyde.
Yes, Your Honor. I honestly I took it as whatever you said, whatever Miss Heights requested of us was we were to follow through that whole week, and I just we were in correspondence. I was waiting for her to hit my phone number up that she was last in correspondence with. I never got nothing back. The last message was my message to her when she first had reached contact with me. It's the same number. I did not think to hit her up because I was worried about my child coming home. She was not home until yesterday at 2 something from her dad's visit. So I was and I was told I couldn't even come pick her up. So I mean I was a little stressed on.
How many times did you call Ms. Hyde from the
I
last
did
time we were in court?
Oh no, I didn't call her myself. I thought that she was going to be calling and requesting things of me is what I honestly thought.
Okay. When I said last time we were here, when I said that both parties would need to speak with the guardian ad litem by the cutoff date of May 14th, yesterday at 7 p.m., what did you understand that to mean?
I thought that anything that she had, like, if she was to tell me to meet me here or to like come talk to her, let her see my daughter, I thought that she was going to be telling me instructions on what to do. That's what I honestly thought.
Okay, then why do you think I said a deadline for you to contact her?
I I don't think I heard you correctly. I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay.
My daughter was gone, and it was stressing me out more than anything. I don't think I considered those words to be what they were. I apologize. It was an honest mistake.
Do you have Ms. Hyde's phone number?
I do.
Okay. So
I can call her right after court if she would be available.
okay, I'm just going to make sure that we're communicating correctly. You're ordered to contact Ms. Hyde no later than close of business on Friday and speak with her. Either speak with her when you talk to her or set an appointment and keep that appointment. So tell me what you need to do.
I need to contact Miss Heights no later than Friday and speak with her and do whatever she's asking me to do.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
Ms. Hyde, maybe I could hear from you and then we'll hear from Mr. Molina.
Okay, but I put together some notes for review for the court, just kind of a quick thumbnail, if you would indulge me. I think it will help us get a clear picture today. This case has been complicated, Your Honor, by a high level of strife and mistrust, and by documents being filed in both Cowlitz County and Island County. There have been competing protection orders, some of which have been denied, amended, or struck. There have been dueling proposed parenting plans. There have been accusations of poor parenting and withholding, and there was a previous 2021 parental kidnapping by mother of this child. By my count, there have been 8 judicial officers in Cowlitz County who have heard portions of this case, plus any Island County judicial officers. I found that very unusual. At the termination of my earlier appointment, the plan per Commissioner Nelson was that the parties would put together a parenting plan initiated by Mr. Molina, and until then, the child would stay in Island County with father. An Island County order of December 1st, 2022, ordered that this then 6-year-old child was to live with father Jake Molina in Island County, and mother Summer Brody would have visitation. During the next year, Summer was unable to achieve regular visitation. I believe there were only 2 visits during that time, but there was regular, I think nearly daily video contact between mother and Aaliyah. A year later, in December of 2023, Aaliyah was taken without notice to Mr. Molina as part of a pizza delivery scam. When Mr. Molina could not find his daughter at home, at the neighbor's home, or anywhere in the neighborhood, he called police. And it was through their efforts that they discovered that mother and grandmother had contrived to deliver a pizza to the home and then took the child. There was no known address for Miss Brody. She was unreachable through available phone numbers or mutual acquaintance by either the police or Mr. Molina. And so Aaliyah was completely cut off from contact with her father at that time. 2 months later, little more than 2 months, in February, mother again asked for a restraining order and filed pictures of bruising of, this was several weeks after she picked her up. The date and origin of the bruising was unknown. And pending further investigation, that order was granted. On April 3rd, I was reappointed. I sent out intake packets in an effort to gather a comprehensive updated picture for the court. Also at that hearing, father was granted 2 weekend visits. Neither visit occurred due to Miss Brody's failure to tender the child or to communicate with Mr. Brody, or I'm sorry, Mr. Molina. On May 8th, as you have already referenced this morning, Your Honor, the parties were directed by this court to cooperate with the GAL investigation. I contacted both parties that day. Mr. Molina was cooperative and responsive and communicative. Before that most recent court order, Ms. Brody had briefly indicated to me that she would be unable to meet or to return paperwork due to undergoing a difficult move. She's not communicated with me at all after the May 8th court appearance, although I made, by my count, 6 various attempts to contact her, leaving messages and also texts, including texts that suggested various times and options for getting together with she and her daughter. During the months that Aaliyah has been with Summer, she has not been enrolled in public school, but there was a report that she has been perhaps in an online service. I've not received any information about the provider. I have not received any information that there was an intent to homeschool filed with the state or of any annual mandatory testing being undertaken. There was an effort by Miss Brody on Monday of this week to enroll Aaliyah in North Lake School. That same enrollment was attempted after the previous abduction in 2021. The court-ordered visit of May 10th through 12th, ordered by Your Honor last week, occurred. And by Jake's account and by information from 2 other people who witnessed parts of that visit, it went well. I received pictures of fishing, of northern lights, water play, time with family and friends, and reunification with the family dog. After that visit, father returned Aaliyah to the Hall of Justice 2 days late. This is because he was pulled over for a faulty brake light and a problem with his driver's license was discovered. The officer instructed him not to drive until the problem had been remedied by the Department of Licensing. He was able to clear up the matter on Tuesday, and he was able to legally make the 10-hour round trip with Aaliyah. He did give me photos of the documents from the officer. Briefly, Your Honor, I spoke with collateral people, and I haven't indicated who said what, but just kind of a synopsis of those statements. The 4 individuals who have known Mr. Molina for over 10 years, they sketched a picture of a patient-caring father who's responsible, who's kept his child clean and well-fed, who is his main focus, statements that the home was clean and orderly, that he's a hands-on parent, that he does not smoke weed but drinks beer on occasion, that he participates in her school activities. One source stated that Jake and Aaliyah were at his house for dinner the night before Aaliyah was taken, and he remembers her as healthy and well-fed and noted no bruising. He stated she seemed happy and playful with her father at that time. A school counselor noted that about a year ago, Aaliyah had arrived at school crying because her dad had yelled at her for not brushing her teeth. However, she also noted that her behavior at school was within norms. She stated that due to more than 20 absences during the September to December months of this school year, Aaliyah was falling behind academically but was doing okay socially. That number of absences is concerning. Aaliyah's current academic progress is unknown. Aaliyah's housing in Cowlitz County is unknown, including any housemates of mother. Unfounded recent reports of Ms. Brody using street drugs within the last 6 months have been received but are unverified. A hair test is indicated but has not yet been requested due to failure of contact. Criminal records show theft charges by Ms. Brody on each of the last 3 years. The most recent was a first-degree charge in July of 2023. Finally, because of the comparative stability in Father's home, because of the many ongoing uncertainties surrounding Mother's living arrangements and ability to safely parent this child, because of the court's earlier ruling that the child should reside with Father, and because of this erratic kidnapping incident by Mother and grandmother, I'm recommending the following today. I'm recommending that Aaliyah be returned to Father's care on Saturday, May 17th by 3 p.m. and that the exchange be made at the Hall of Justice. After a day of getting settled, Aaliyah should be enrolled on Monday, May 20th into school, and that an appointment be made with Ms. Tang by phone or in person to review any needed remedial learning. There should be no unexcused absences and no tardies between May 20th and the end of the school year. I'm recommending that Jake Molina not consume any alcohol within 8 hours of driving, and that he participate in an SUD screening within 30 days and participate in any recommendations. This is not meant, Your Honor, as an accusation, but a way to confirm or deny allegations leveled multiple times by Ms. Brody. I'm recommending that Mother undergo a 17-panel hair test by 4 o'clock today, with the results filed with this GA on the court. And until receipt of those results, no visitation occur. I'm recommending that Mother have phone or video visits on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 5 o'clock or at other agreed times. Upon production of a clean 17-panel hair test, Ms. Brody can file the results and petition the court for in-person visits as follows. Due to twice unilaterally removing Aaliyah from her father's care and subsequently withholding her without contact for extended time, Summer Brody's visits be in Island County, supervised 6 hours every other weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, as agreed by the parties. Supervisor to be agreed, but grandmother not to be a supervisor. During these visits, Aaliyah is not to be taken out of Island County. That concludes my report, Your Honor. I would note that there is a final report, according to my orders appointing, that is due on June 15th. There's no date set for review of that, but it is due to the parties by the 15th.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Height. All right. So lots of information there. I'll give the parties each a moment to address any concerns or affirmations or confirmations. So first hear from Mr. Molina, then from Ms. Brody.
Yes. When Miss Heights, I didn't quite hear what you said. You said I need to purchase something in 30 days. What was that? I just want to make sure I have the right thing written down here.
She recommended that you get a SUD evaluation or substance use disorder evaluation within 30 days.
Evaluation. Okay. Yes. Thank you. So I didn't hear it correctly the first time.
Any other comments you'd like to share?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Brody, any comments you'd like to share?
Yes, Your Honor, if I could, just read the court, something that I had prepared before, this hearing, if I
Okay.
may. Okay. Um, um, Your Honor, if it is okay with the court, I would like to add additional set of eyes on this case. I've asked CPS to get involved with my case for a neutral set of eyes and further investigation. Extra eyes on this case couldn't hurt, Your Honor. Also, Ann Heights can meet with us anytime she is available after school, so we will both be available. Aaliyah is in school and is in active therapy, and also the youth center for kids on Commerce. Plus, we attend church on Sundays. We actually attend two churches, Father's House and CKA Celebrate Recovery in Kelso. Oh, where's my other page? My daughter is programming really well and very happy with her schedule. And I had earlier on, like it was a couple months ago, I had a slip up, yes, and I like it's a disease that I'm gonna have to struggle with my entire life. I know that, but I had enrolled myself into an intensive outpatient. I'm already in that as we speak. I go to meetings. I'm in Celebrate Recovery. And I am actively tackling that as we speak because I don't want my child to grow up like that, and I don't want to go down that road.
Where are you doing the intensive outpatient?
At core,
How often are you going?
it's gonna be it's I start on Tuesday. With they had a long set out or whatever, but my counselor's name will be Mike. He's the main guy at core, and I'm also doing mental health there as well.
How many hours a week?
However many they make me, as much as I can commute to. I'm trying to keep myself busy. They haven't set my plan fully yet.
So when do you have you've
My
completed?
first,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. Oh, my first meet was what was it, Mom? The 7th, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday is my first day going in.
Okay, so that's the first time you'll go to court, correct?
Yes, but it's not the first time I've been. It's not my first day with in my recovery. I've been doing like I said, my meetings, and I go to my groups all on my own, and like I sought out CPS to be able to open my life to them so that they can see my daughter is in very well hands. I mean, most people close their door to CPS, and I'm trying to ask them to come invade my space so that my daughter gets a fair shot at being heard and seen for what it is, that she's happy and taken care of here, and she does not want to live over there. And she was very neglected. I have dates on my phone, on the hard drive or whatever of my phone of when those pictures were submitted, that she had said that it was unclear because obviously they were just photos. I didn't think to put the information of when they were submitted, but when I first got her back, she was traumatized. She was like very timid, very scared. So my main focus was just, coddling my baby at that time. Um, she was very abused, and my daughter and me we were on the phone like Ann said every day and throughout the whole day. Like I would even sometimes put her to bed on the phone because her father would be actively partying, and I was on basically a phone babysitter. There was my daughter describing sexual activities in the bed with her where he doesn't let her sleep anywhere outside of his bed. Is concerning. It's not comfortable for her. She's, you know, her calling me, telling me that he flipped her completely off the bed, where her almost her temple, it was like maybe a centimeter or two away from her temple being bruised, really black bruised for like a month, is very concerning as well. That could have taken my daughter's life. And she just told me when she came back this time that she addressed that with her father again too, and he basically just tells her those things didn't happen. She said she was being bullied over there, and her daddy doesn't help her with anything like that. She said daddy doesn't send me to school on Fridays. My daughter would constantly be asking her dad to feed her while I'm on the phone, and I'd have to send her packages all throughout the time, and fast food and stuff deliveries because she wasn't eating. She gained, I think, at least 15 pounds in the first couple weeks of coming home with me. She's been enrolled since she went back to public school, and her first day was Friday. It was nothing to do with Monday. I don't know how those dates got crossed with Miss Ann, but those facts are not not correct. She is actually on a field trip right now with her school too. But her first day of going to school, she all on her own went to the principal's office, addressing how scared she was to be put back in her dad's care. And the principal calls me telling me, they want to know more about this. Like, what can we do? I was like, well, I'm in an active case, custody battle with her dad. And she's like, well, it's concerning and it kind of breaks my heart what this little girl feels for her dad. So I decided I wanted CPS. I don't, and I no disrespect to the court or to anybody right now, but I don't feel like I feel like it's a bias situation with the guardian ad litem and this case. So to make it fair, it really honestly can't hurt to have the state have more eyes on the situation. But I really, really am begging you to let the investigation go a little further before you put my daughter back in that area. If you could just give me a chance.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Brody. Appreciate your input. Okay, so a couple of things that stand out to the court. One is the educational neglect that's been alleged and set forth. Also, there's concerning for the withholding and taking of a child by a ruse or a scam. There's also concern of ignoring multiple attempts by Ms. Height in the past week to leaving messages and sending texts to Ms. Brody and ignoring Ms. Height's outreach. And there's also concerns for drug relapse. So I think that information is really key that I've heard here today. So first and foremost, I think I'm going to require Ms. Brody to take a hair follicle test by 4 p.m. today and then file the results. So Ms. Brody, can you tell me what I just said?
You said for me to take a hair follicle test and file it by 4 p.m. today?
Yeah, get it done before 4 p.m. today. And then if you can file it today, great. If not, tomorrow morning, and then to send a copy out to Ms. Height and send a copy out to Mr. Molina. So that's the first item to take care of. Second,
Your Honor, if I might, Your
Yes.
Honor, this is Ann Height. Can you indicate that needs to be a 17 panel?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
and Ms. Brody, thank you for that correction. Ms. Brody, make sure that when you're asking for the hair follicle test, let them know you need the 17 panel test. And so a test for 17 different drugs.
Okay.
Then I'm ending the restraining order today. That it ends today, right now. And Ms. Brody, your order to return the child on May 17th. That's a Friday at 3 p.m. at the Hall of Justice. It's a good idea to be about 15 minutes early, but your order to be at the Hall of Justice on that date and time with the child and turn the child over to the father by Mr. Molina. You'll need to enroll your child in school by Monday, May 20th, close of business. And then you'll also need to set an appointment with Ms. Tang at the school to do an educational review for Aaliyah. That also until the end of the school year, she cannot be late. She cannot be have any unexcused absences. Also, Mr. Molina, you're required to consume no alcohol 8 hours before driving with your child. And you'll also need to get an SUD, substance use evaluation. And if they recommend any treatment, then do that treatment. That evaluation needs to be completed within 30 days of today's date.
Okay.
Mother will have visitations on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 5 p.m. And those can be video visits for a reasonable length and duration. And Ms. Ms. Brody will need to comply with any substance use disorder and mental health evaluations and treatments. If either of those evaluations have not been completed, then Ms. Brody, you'll need to make sure you complete both evaluations and then follow up and do the recommended treatment.
God. When you're done, can I speak when you're done, please?
Yeah, I'm finished.
I was just wondering, considering the stuff that needs to be addressed in my daughter's well-being and her mental health and stuff, is there any possible way that like both of us can just have like step aside. Like even my mom is a registered foster parent. Can my child be safe? Can because her health and her safety is what matters to me most. And I'll jump through whatever hoops regardless. But my daughter, her life already almost was taken once. Okay, and she is crying to anybody that will hear her. She's scared when she's alone with him. She acts a certain way in front of her dad. She says it all the time. Can she please, her safety, please be put first and her not be put back there? Can we just need to have it investigated first, please? Is there a way that she can be taken from both of us right now and it be investigated? Because she's crying out and she's only 7 and please. And I don't drive.
So a couple different things. You'd asked, you indicated that you want an extra pair of eyes, and that's why you're bringing CPS into the situation at this point. That strikes me as concerning, because if CPS was if the child safety was a real concern, then CPS would have been contacted at the time of any potential allegation. We do have an extra pair of eyes. We have the guardian ad litem's eyes here, and there's no showing that those are inadequate. Also, you've indicated that you're willing to jump through any hoops. Well, one of the hoops that the court required you last week was for you to contact Ms. Height. She contacted you 6 times. You did not contact her. So I don't have a much confidence in you jumping through any so-called hoops. So in response to your request, no, that's denied. Those orders that I indicated earlier need to be abided. So Friday, May 17th, 3 p.m. Hall of Justice, child needs to be there. Do not be late. I will draft an order and that'll be distributed to the parties. Do you have any questions, either Ms. Height, Ms. Brody, or Mr. Molina?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, I will draft that order and distribute it to the parties. So key dates again, Ms. Brody, hair follicle 17 panel today by 4 p.m. no later. And then the child is returned on May 17th, Friday, 3 p.m. at the Hall of Justice. And then the other items will be listed of the completion of items that Mr. Molina has to do. That'll terminate the hearing for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, I have Michael